We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Ring the notification bell. Share the video if you want to support this national Rebel Outpost College Football YouTube channel with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $ where you make your comments, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. Welcome to PATC College Football Trivia World Championship number 3. The first winner was Moen, that Buckeye. The second winner is the LSU Tiger, Rodney Richboard. And now he is in the chat room. So it looks like Rodney, if he can stick around, it looks like he's going to be defending his reigning. He's the undisputed world champion. Now, some of you might be saying, Greg, how can you call this a world championship? You've got such a small YouTube channel. Nobody knows who you are. There's barely going to be a handful of us trying to answer your stupid trivia questions. Well, you know, just like the professional wrestling territories. If you call your champion a world champion, sometimes in the magazines pick it up as you calling it the world champion. Well, it's the world champion. We're going to call it the world champion. That's what this is. PATC World Championship College Football Trivia. Just the way it is. This is just the championship for the PATC silo. No, it's not, Karan Shakar. This is the World Championship. Hot Rod Richborg going for title number 2. Curtis, good to be back, Greg. Wife is doing great considering she's up and moving. Got to tell her to sit down. Good news, Curtis. Thank you so very much for giving us an update. And let me just say, I probably should have done this before. I probably should have done this a handful of times. But I want to thank all the women out there, the wives, the grandmothers, the older sisters, the mothers, the grandmothers, the older sisters, the important women in our life who have taken care of us men throughout our lifetime. Our favorite teacher, our favorite doctor or nurse or lawyer, but most importantly, our family, our loved ones, the women in our lives. We should be saying thank you for them, to them, for all they've done for us, and to give us a little bit of a time to talk college football. But thank you so much for giving us our lives. Thank you so much to the women in our lives. Thank you for that reminder, Curtis. Very much appreciate it. Now, and God bless your wife, by the way. So yeah, this is the World Championship. And what we're going to do here is we got 20 trivia questions. All right? 20 questions, just like last time. If you get it, if you are the first one to get it right, I put your name up on the board. And then if you get another answer right, I put a hash mark by your name. After 20 questions, who's ever got the most questions correct is the world champion. And if there's a tie, then I got to figure out a tiebreaker. All right? Here's the deal. It's the first answer that is correct that comes up on what I see in the chat room. The order that I see can be different than the order that you all see. But I got to go by what I see in the chat room. And if I have to, if there is controversy, I would take a picture to show you that Don Scruggs came in behind the Big Lubbock. That Don Scruggs was not the first one to get it right in my chat room. All right, that's number one. We're going by my chat, the order that I see it. That's number one. Number two, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is decided by this guy, the fat guy from Minnesota. If you make an attempt, a good attempt, to answer a name correctly, I'm going to give it to you. But it's got to be first and last name. And the spelling either has to be correct or so close that I understand the name that you put down. It can't be a scribble. It can't be, if you're answering Walter Payton, it can't be Payton. It cannot be Payton. It's got to be the first name. It's got to be the first name. Who's the best player? Who is in the Jackson State Football Hall of Fame? You can't put Payton. It's got to be Walter Payton. We've got a lot of different Mannings. We've got a lot of different, you've got to have an attempt at first and last name, and the spelling has got to be close enough. Now, Again, there's going to be judgment calls on that. Judgment calls on that. I'm the judge. I'm the only judge. So what's going to happen is I'm going to piss a lot of you off. That is what's going to happen. This is our third world championship. It happened in the first. It happened in the second. It's going to happen in the third. The good news is, if you win the world championship, you don't win a damn thing. You win nothing, and you're going to like it, except for the title of being world champion. So there's no money on the line. You're not going to get a prize. You're getting absolutely nothing except for the title of being a world champion, which should be your motivation anyways. It should be your motivation anyways. So number one, whatever answer comes up, correct answer comes up first in my chat. My chat, not yours. It's going to be different. Number two, you've got to make it an honest, it's got to be a good enough answer, and I'm going to be the judge on the spelling, first and last name. When it comes to names, not necessarily when it comes to university names, but you got to be as accurate as possible on that. Number three, how do you get the answer? What is legal? Everything's legal. I don't care if you make a guess. I don't care if you Google it. I don't care if you got another computer there. I don't care if you got 3 phones there. I don't care if you got 10 people there. I don't care if you got a photographic memory. Whatever you need to do to get the right answer as quick as possible, go ahead. Absolutely go ahead and get it done. All right? So those are the guardrails. Those are the rules. Those are the rules in college football. Peek around the corner, World Championship. And this is the third one. The inaugural champion was Moen Buckeye. The second champion was, well, he's in the chat. He is in the chat. Rodney Richbord, LSU Tiger. So there's been a Buckeye, there's been an Ohio State Buckeye, and there has been an LSU Tiger that has won the World Championship. This is not a mid-level title. This is not a regional title. This is not a North American title. This is the World Championship. This is not a Big Ten. This is not the Southeastern Conference. This is the World Championship College Trivia, our third annual one. All right. Christopher Hooter, Super Chat, thank you so much for starting us off. Is this like the nationwide trivia at Chili's? Well, this is a world championship. I've never been at trivia night at Chili's. This is a world championship. So if you're in France right now, and we do have viewership in France, we have it in Canada, we've got them in Mexico. If you want to win this thing, go ahead. Go ahead, win this. This is a world championship. Thank you for the $2 holler, Christopher Hooter. I appreciate your generosity so very much. What about the universe? Not quite the universe, but is on this blue planet that we call Earth. This is the world championship. No intercontinental championship here. No. World championship. All right. Expansion Crush. DJ Ugalalale. Okay, I would probably accept that if that was an answer to a question. All right, let me do a roll call. But then I want to talk about something before we get into the World Championship. Bruce Harris is here. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it. Boomer Sumer, Nick Kelsel's in the house. The Georgia Bulldog. Don Scruggs, the Cornhusker. Skaven, yes. Karan, Shakar, Tazbo, Showtime. Utah, Rich Austin is in the house. MGC Sooner is here. The big Lubbock, my prof. Stephen Vitt, I stink at trivia, but I want to be here anyway. So do I. I'm not the brightest bulb in the refrigerator, but I know where every refrigerator is in every location that I walk into. Even if I have the right answer, I'm not going to be able to get the name out of my mouth. I'm not going to be able to figure out the name. I can see it, I can feel it, I can touch it, but I can't say it and I can't type it because the name keeps slipping out of this old gopher mind of mine. Curtis is in the house. The evil badger. I can't compete. I can't type fast. You can compete, Ryan Willie. You can compete. You might not win. Which is fine. There's only one winner. But you can compete. So go ahead, give it a shot. Ryan Brooks is in the house. Troy is here. Wally P, that would not be good enough. Expansion Crush is in the house. The other Gygax, Daniel Gygax, thanks for coming on in. Mr. Mountaineer, that is not going to be an answer to a question. C. John, that ain't going to be an answer. Dead-I-Yo's in the house. Thanks for coming on in, Dead-I-Yo. Son of Sarek is here. Wendy Scruggs, the smarter half of the Scruggs family in Georgia. Thanks for coming on in, Wendy. Appreciate it. Tumasta, Steven, I think everybody's here. The spelling doesn't have to be exactly correct for me to allow it. But it's got to be good enough. And when you say, Greg, what does that mean? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What is good art? It's in the eye of the beholder. What is a good enough spelling for me to allow that to be an answer? It's going to be in the eye of the beholder, and I am the beholder. All right? I am the judge, the jury, and the executioner. There's going to be a lot of blowback. I get it. But that's what this show is all about. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. And Scruggs is cooking some dumplings. Very good. Take a drink every time Greg says World Championship. This is exactly what it is. Before I get into that, I was going to hop on here, do a trivia show, have a good time, open up the phone lines, and then and that's it. Saturday afternoon, early evening trivia. But then about an hour ago, I received a long email. And my first thought was, holy smokes, I might have a lot to talk about tonight. But then I read the email, and 95% of the email was just, it had nothing to do with, it would be nothing that you would all be interested in. But there's 5% of that I think you are going to be interested in. I'm interested in it, so I'm going to report to you. So this was not something that I was planning on. I did not put it up at the title of our show. I did put it up in the description. If you look at the description of the show. If you remember, months ago, we had a Virginia Tech Hokie, Money Perch, talk to us. And they gave us some, what they believe to be Virginia Tech. They came up with this, they believed, and I did not agree with it at the time. I don't know if I agree with it now, but at the time, this Virginia Tech Money Perch was saying, we've got a better shot. We don't have much of a shot to get to the P2, but our best shot is to go with Virginia to the Big Ten. Now, do some of you remember when we did a live show on that? If you remember, please say yes in the chat room. But we did have a big old live show on that. What happened next was the Virginia Tech money perch. Thank you, Jose and Preston from Greensboro. Thank you, guys. And so this is interesting because then what happened next was through our BTM and his relationships with the Virginia Tech money perch, we were able to talk to a UAV, and we're just going to call him an administrator. Not so much a money perch, okay? And that Virginia administrator told us we were given the okay to communicate to him, all right? That UVA administrator, if you remember this, put down yes in the chat. He said the following: we believe the Southeastern Conference door is already closed. This was before the governorship election at Virginia. We believe the SEC thing is closed already. We believe that Spanberger is going to win. We believe that Attorney General is going to win. The Democratic Attorney General is going to win. Blah, 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 blah. And we believe our shot to get to a P2 is going to be centered around the Big Ten. Now, this was the time when I was given a little bit of we gave it like a 5-month window was going to remain open after Spanberger wins the election. We thought maybe the window would be open for 5 months. I think we were wrong. I think I got to take an L on that. I think the window is closed. And I think this guy, this administrator, talking to who he talks to at Virginia, anticipated an electoral victory for Spanberger, and the window's basically shut. Okay. That takes us up to now. The Virginia, not Virginia Tech money perch, but the Virginia administrator, in communication with one of BTM's associates, had a very back and forth. 95% of it does not relate to what you and I are interested in. But the part that we're interested in, I think is kind of interesting. Again, I did not advertise this to be part of the live show today. This is a world champion trivia show, but I got this about an hour ago. I got the go ahead. I'm going to talk about it for just a moment. And maybe we can pick it back up on a Sunday, a Monday. You guys can call in after the trivia championship if you want to talk about this some more. We can. For those who are just came here for the World Championship to compete in the World Championship, I apologize, but I got it. You know how I work. If I get something, I try to get it out as quick as possible. The Virginia administrator said that he has heard that the new governor of Virginia, who's already put in a bunch of, I think the number was 10 or 8. I don't go by what I'm, either 10 or 8 new board of visitors. Like, she's already got control of the board of visitors. A new rector, a new leader of the board of visitors, a new, I don't know what they call it, vice chair, vice rector, vice whatever. But she's got her, the new governor has got her people in and basically got control of the board of visitors already. We're not even through February yet. There is some negotiations, according to this Virginia administrator, in regards to the current president. Because this governor and the new board of visitors would rather have a different president of Virginia. This president of Virginia was snuck in the month of December And this is what we reported to you all we thought was going to happen. We reported that in October or November. But there is a pause, a negotiation. Possibly this new president will stay on if he dances to the tune of what the Board of Visitors, the governor, wants to happen at the University of Virginia. This is the interesting part. According to the Virginia administrator that now is talking to us, and so far has been dead nuts on, this Virginia administrator told us that he believes that the governor is going to make it known, has already made it known, but will make it known later on in public, because this is not one of her priorities right now, that, again, if Virginia is going to go, the University of Virginia is going to go to a P2, that Virginia Tech is going to have to come along. There's a whole layer of information to this that I'm going to try to explain to you. That was not the perception. If that turns out to be true, and I think it is, because this guy has been more than accurate thus far, this was not the perception that I think a lot of people thought. Like, the governor was going to be very pro. The governor is an alumni of Virginia. The attorney general is as well. And it was going to be Virginia-centric, University of Virginia-centric. But according to the university, now this is coming from University of Virginia administrator. This is not coming from the Virginia Tech money purge. The University of Virginia administrator is saying, we have gotten word that the governor is going to battle for both. If this has to happen, for both. And the reason why is the following. It's even more, it's not just about, it is about exiting. If you're going to exit the ACC, if you're going to join the Southeastern Conference, which now I don't think is the chalk for Virginia, but if you're going to go to the Southeastern Conference or you're going to go to the Big Ten, again, we all know the stories. Virginia Tech kind of intertwangled with each other. But the main point that the University of Virginia administrator is saying is, if Virginia is going to do this, if there is not going to be a reimagined ACC, which would include both Virginia Tech and Virginia, if that concept doesn't happen, and if that happens, man, that is a big story. But if that doesn't happen, and I don't think that is the chalk in any way, but it's people, there are people that are supporting that, okay? If that doesn't happen, if a reimagined ACC doesn't happen, the University of Virginia believes in, this seems to be what everybody's thinking about. We know Duke is thinking about this. We know Utah is thinking about this. But Virginia believes it's going to have to take a state effort for Virginia to get to the Big Ten. For example, let's use the Big Ten as an example. If Virginia sat down with the Big Ten, negotiated with the Big Ten, at a time where the Big Ten could expand because all these other hurdles have been taken care of, and we know that the Big Ten has been interested in Virginia, it would take a state effort. It would take a university effort and a state effort for Virginia to get to the Big Ten and be able to operate as a Big Ten university when you're going to have to come in most likely at 30 cents, 40 cents on the dollar. Now, he did not describe it as 30 cents or 40 cents. He used a whole different language. But the Virginia administrator says it's going to be a great cost to Virginia first entering into the SEC or the Big Ten, but especially the Big Ten. Like, Virginia knows that if they were going to the Big Ten in the short term, your revenues, what is coming to you as a university, might not go up, but your costs are going to skyrocket. Your cost in joining the Big Ten, your athletic costs are going to go up. Your revenues is not going to go up. I mean, eventually it is. Eventually, Virginia, if everything keeps going the way it is, and the Big Ten remains the Big Ten after 2036, but Virginia would be betting on that they would be a fully, invested Big Ten member, just like everybody else is at this point, except for Oregon and Washington. But eventually they're going to make way more money, exposure, blah, 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 in the Big Ten than the ACC. But it is that bridge. It is that gap. We just got done talking about Utah. We just got done talking about Utah and the conversations that we know that they've had with the Big Ten. And that Utah is trying to build this war. They're trying to make it so they could endure the transition to the Big Ten. Virginia knows that they would have to endure the transition to the Big Ten. Oregon and Washington are enduring their transition to the Big Ten. Maryland and Rutgers just got through all that. And Rutgers is still suffering. So this Virginia official is saying, we believe that the governor is going to come out and say, if Virginia gets an opportunity to decide their future Big Ten Southeastern Conference, Virginia Tech has got to be a part of that, because the state of Virginia has to be a part of helping Virginia and Virginia Tech endure it, to get in and then to get all the positive end of it years down the road. Very interesting comments, almost completely out of the blue. I mean, one of BTM's associates have been asking questions to this Virginia guy, and he finally opened up a vein and talked about it. But he believes that the governor is going to make it known, you want Virginia Tech is going to have to be taken care of. Basically the same message as the last few, the attorney general of the previous attorney general of Virginia, who was the governor, the candidate that ran against Spanberger. So this seems to be a bipartisanship thing going on in Virginia, knowing that if Virginia went alone, sure, they may be able to leave, they may be able to separate from Virginia Tech, but are they going to be able to endure the transition, to get enough grease on the skids, to be able to operate, to be able to keep it going athletically in the Southeastern Conference, in the Big Ten. So that is interesting. That is something that we did not expect to hear. Sounds like the governor is for Virginia Tech to be taken care of. So I throw that in the pile of all the of all the, of all the things that can affect us either way, it is, throw that in the pile. Throw that in the pile. All right. So, let's get to it. World Championship. World Championship. Okay. Again, you guys know the rules. I've already gone over them. All right? Let's go. I got my chalk. Here we go. First question. PATC World Championship. Boise State. Oh, wait, one more rule. One more rule. You only get one shot to answer it. So if you come in with an incorrect answer the first time, but then you put it in a second time, I only take your first answer to every question. All right? Boise State needed to replace the turf, but did not want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a run-of-the-mill green field, so they installed the blue field. What year was it? What year did they install the blue field? Mowing after dark is correct. 1986. 1986. I don't know why this is so far away from me. Okay. Mowing. All right. Second question. By the way, Moen is the world champion, the first world champion. So we got both world champions in the chat room. Second question. Virginia Tech's Hokies nickname is one of the most unique in all the sports. The history becomes fascinating when digging into its predecessor. What was Virginia Tech's nickname before they became the Hokies? Day B is correct. Gobblers. The Gobblers. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know why this thing's all... I don't know. I don't get it. Day B is up on the scoreboard. Day B got it first. All right. Third question. Johnny Manziel was not a highly touted recruit when he arrived at Texas A&M in 2011. He was a 3-star prospect and the 13th ranked dual threat quarterback in the country, 62nd ranked prospect in the state of Texas. Manziel redshirted in 2011 as Ryan Tannehill threw for 29 touchdowns. Whom did Manziel beat out for the Aggie starting job in 2012? I need a first name. I need an attempt on a first name. I need a first name and a last name. Last name is not good enough. First and last name. It's not Ryan Tannenhill. He is part of the question. Mowing After Dark is correct. Jamil, I'm I'm gonna have to give it to RT. Jamil Showers. Showers is the last name. Sorry, Moen. Again, I'm going to have to get it to Jamil Showers. RT gets it. Now we did have a Showers. We already have our first controversy. Sorry, RT, I couldn't get it to you earlier because we got to have that first name. All right. Fourth question. One of the biggest rivalries in college football is Louisville and Kentucky. What is the name of the trophy awarded to the winner each year? Ryan Brooks gets it correct. The Governor's Cup. All right. We've got Moen, Dave B, RT, and Brooks. Ryan Brooks. Okay, hold on. Question number 5. What year was the first year Virginia was ranked number 1 in the AP poll? Rodney Richborg is correct. 1990. Rodney is up on the board. So far, 5 questions. 5 different contestants have gotten it right. What is the name of the Northwestern's fight song? RT gets it right. Go you Northwestern. RT has 2 correct. Okay, now this question should be answered within a nanosecond after I ask it. It is the most asked college football trivia question ever. Okay? This one gets asked at everyone. Everybody should have the answers. Just type it in as fast as you can. The typing has got to be close enough. The typing has got to be close enough. What two teams played in the first college football game? Ryan Brooks, got it. Rutgers, Princeton. Rutgers, Princeton. Ryan Brooks has 2 correct. Who was the coach primarily responsible for recruiting the great Tony Dorsett? It is not Kirby Smart. It is not Johnny Majors. You only get one. It's not Majors. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Bill G is up on the scoreboard. Bill G, Jackie Sherrill. Bill G. Okay. Next question. Ryan Brooks has got 2. RT's got 2. Dave B's got 1. Moen's got 1. Rodney's got 1. Bill's got 1. This great halfback was the Heisman Trophy winner in 1959, giving LSU its first Heisman winner. Who was this man? Christopher Hooter. Billy Cannon. Hooter's on the board. Hooter is on the board. Wow. All right. Here we go. Which rivalry trophy is handed out to the winner of the Michigan State-Indiana football game? I cannot take Ryan Brooks's answer. I had to take RT's answer. Expansion Crush, I needed that old. The old brass spittoon. On a trophy, I need the whole title. Sorry, Ryan Brooks. The old brown spittoon, Expansion Crush. I needed the whole title. The old brass spittoon. RT gets another one. He's up to 3. RT gets another call. Well, it's sold, duh. Replay. All right. Where was Steve Spurrier head coach before taking over at Florida? Ryan Brooks is correct. Duke. And then Shakar came in, and Johnny Blaze came in, and Hooter came in. Ryan Brooks has 3. RT has 3. Hooter, Dave B, Moen, Rodney Richborg, and Bill G all have 1. RT and Brooks are in the lead. We got 12 more questions. 12 more questions. Okay, now listen to the question here. You got to listen now, okay? In Tennessee, there was Todd Helton. Then there was Peyton Manning. But before them, there was who? You only get one shot at it. I have not seen. You only get one shot at it. No, there has not been a correct answer yet. There it is. Rodney Richborg. Heath Schuler is the answer. The question was, in Tennessee, there was Todd Helton. Then there was Peyton Manning. But before them, there was Heath Schuler. Now, God, I can't. Who's the Florida State quarterback that won the Heisman? Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward, right? Heath Schuler came in second in the Heisman Trophy that year. And I thought I thought there was no greater gap between the winner and the guy who came in second. Heath Schuler was nowhere near the quarterback Charlie Ward was. Like, nowhere near that. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Who got it again? Rodney Richborg. He's got two. He's got two. Look out for Rodney. All right. Okay. Next question. Okay, you're going to have to be fast on this one. Knute Rockne died at age 42. How did he die? Arnegad, airplane accident, plane crash. People were answering stroke, heart attack, car accident. It was an airplane crash. Arnegad is on the board. All right. In 1966, Steve Spurrier, who ended up winning the Heisman Trophy, Steve Spurrier in 1966 kicked a field goal of 40 yards with 2:12 remaining to beat which team 30-27? Ryan Brooks got it just before Johnny Blaze. Just before Johnny Blaze. It is Auburn. It is Auburn. Ryan Brooks with his fourth correct. I think we got 7 more questions left. Now, get a load of this one. Which BYU kicker set a record in 2001 for the most PATs made in a season? Ryan Brooks, Matt Payne. Matt Payne made 73 point after touchdowns. 73. That is unbelievable. Ryan Brooks has now taken a commanding lead. 5. Rodney's got 2. RT's got, okay, that's 1, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. I think we got 6 questions left. Ryan Brooks has got a commanding lead. When the Utah Utes went to the BCS in 2004 at the Fiesta Bowl, who did they beat? We're giving it to Arnegad, Pittsburgh. Arnegad has another correct. He's got 2. All right, now, okay. In the 2005 Orange Bowl, it was the first time that 2 Heisman winners faced each other in a game. You've got to give me the 2 names of the players that faced each other in that game that were Heisman winners. First and last names. 2005 Orange Bowl. Ryan Brooks, Jason White, and Matt Leinart. Ryan Brooks gets it a little bit before Mowing After Dark. Ryan Brooks is on his way to becoming the world champion. Mowing After Dark, Rodney Richborg, and now it's going to be Ryan Brooks, it looks like. On October 28, 1989, which Ole Miss player suffered a career-ending spinal injury against the Vanderbilt Commodores? Ryan Brooks got it correct. Chucky Mullins. That is 7 for Ryan Brooks. 7 for Ryan Brooks. We got 2 more questions left. The Oklahoma Sooners in the 1950s, in the entire decade of the 1950s, the Oklahoma Sooners lost only 1 conference game. What team did they lose to in the Big Eight? Christopher Hooter got it correct. It is Nebraska. Hooter gets another one. He gets two of them. And the last question for the PATC College Football Trivia World Championship number 3. In what year did the Yellow Jackets leave the Southeastern Conference? Nope. Now this might be controversial. I see some people got 1964. That's not the answer that I got. So who knows? Maybe 64 is a better answer. And if 64 is a better answer, Ryan Brooks gets it because he was the first one. But I got a different year. 1962 is not quite correct. The year that I've got. 64 is correct. I've got 1963. $1963. Oh, it is 1964. It is 1964. Coach Bobby Dodd strongly opposed the SEC's limit of 140 scholarships for football and basketball. After failing to change the rule at a 1964, and it was in January meeting, the vote was 6-6. Georgia Tech withdrew. 1963 was the last year. My apologies to Ryan Brooks. I'm going to give Ryan Brooks another correct point. And Ryan Brooks, you are the world champion. PATC College Football Trivia World Champion. Congratulations. Congrats to everybody's AI and typing speed. Congratulations, Ryan Brooks. The second LSU Tiger. The second LSU Tiger that has won the world championship. We had a Buckeye in Moen, then we had Rodney Richborg, and then we had Ryan Brooks. Congratulations, Ryan Brooks, SEC. All right, so let me check something here. We gotta. Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay, just checking a couple of things. There is this story about Richard McAuliffe, the president of Florida State. He's probably going to get a 3-year. He's going to get an extension, most likely. I've got Florida State Seminole people sending me stuff. It sounds like the Ron DeSantis he might have tried to become the new president of Florida State, the current governor of the state of Florida, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. There's just a report out on War Chant that a very kind PATC family member just sent me, and it sounded like Ron DeSantis is not going to get that presidency. So we'll follow that story. Richard McCullough probably going to get an extension at Florida State. The Big Lubbock Tulane also left the SEC. The SEC regains their dominance. Ryan Brooks, we need our wins when we can get them these days. Title count, LSU, SEC 2. Big Ten, Ohio State 1. Sorry, Greg, but your inaccuracy makes this suspect. I would be keeping the real world championship, an historic big gold belt, and taking it to the voice of college football. My goodness. Well, we do have our territories. But this territory has its own belt. And if you go you don't have it anymore. Rodney Richborg had it. Now Ryan Brooks has it. Was there a little bit of a controversy there? Yes. Was the ref looking the other way a couple of times? Possibility. Ryan Brooks, he is the heel. He is the heel champion of this territory. PATC. The Big Lubbock, Texas Tech will extend Kobe Campbell's time as chairman of the board. Thank you so much for being a member. Again, Mullen After Dark, I very much appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kindness. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, sir. You never got it back from me, Greg. I'm Flair 1991. Well, Rodney Richborg, we gave him a nice shiny belt, and it looks exactly like the AEW belt, the big platinum. So there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And now Ryan Brooks is the world champion. All right. Christopher Hooter, I do apologize. I did not see this $2 holler. My bad. I don't know anything about the NCAA Indiana Lewis Moore case. Repealing the national championship team victories over eligibility. Yeah, I'll go ahead. This is a long article. I'll read it later. Look, the only school that had to get rid of their victories is the Minnesota Golden Gophers. So I don't think that's going to be happening to Indiana. I prefer the 10 pounds of gold. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you want to call in, talk about anything college football that your heart desires, give it a rip. The floor is yours. If not, we'll close it up for the evening. I just wanted to have some fun and do a college football trivia contest. 763 260 1333. 763 260 1333. Give me a call. Give me a call. Thank you, Karan. Appreciate it. Now, this is a 99% college football YouTube channel. 1% UAP, unidentified area phenomenon. Once in a while, here at Peek Around the Corner, we do a Peek Around the World live shows, okay? We covered the wildfire in California. We have covered a few other things that have happened around the world. Once and if this thing happens between the United States and Iran, I might go on live and cover some of that, especially when it first begins. I have a very keen interest in the potential actions that are going to happen. I've explained this story before, and I don't want to get, my wife, when she first came to this country, she worked at the company that I worked at, and I was her boss. We started dating, and I told human resources everything was above level. She worked at a different area after I reported it. We got married, blah, 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 right? Then my wife started now she's a cook at a hospital, and she's been there for like 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. But before that, she worked at Culver's, and she became a manager at Culver's. And she even went to Wisconsin, and spent time with the owner of Culver's. And at that time, his wife, and I think they got divorced. But anyways, she got trained. You used to spend time with the owner. They lived in a mansion. The owner of the Culver's that she worked at, his name was Nadar. Nadar, or Nader, the American name is Nader. Nader was the driver in his younger days, was the driver of one of the top generals under the Shah. And Nader then, he had during the revolutionary, 1979, Ayatollah came in. Nader had to get to he got to this country by the skin of his teeth. And he happened to be the owner of this Culver's restaurant that was so kind to my wife. Nader was an Iranian, a proud Persian. And every time I picked up the little general from Culver's, him and I would sit down, have a Culver's salad or whatever, and he would talk about Iran. And this man saw all of his, or not, he didn't see all of his friends, but all the people that he grew up with, all the people that his family grew up with, they were all basically massacred, killed, tortured, and he has been praying for the day that this Ayatollah, this 200 ruling mullahs would finally fall. There is no bigger difference in the leadership of a country than its people than Iran. The 200 leading mullahs in that country, they run it. They run their country like a slave. Everybody's a slave to this ideology that is absolutely bat bleep, where they believe the 12th Imam is going to come on an electric train and fly over the city of Tehran. And they want, these 200 mullahs want the United States wiped out. They want Israel wiped out. We are the Satan. Israel is the junior Satan. This crazy, crazy ideology that has been funding proxy wars throughout the region, throughout the world, who is hand in hand with Vladimir Putin. If this happens, first of all, our best men and women are going to be at risk. There's no question about it. So my prayers go out to the people who are serving this country, their family, their loved ones. If this happens, it's going to be a major, major impactful event. And I don't think everything's going to go good. I don't happen to think everything's going to go bad. But I am probably going to cover it. Probably. Now that might upset a lot of you. But I'm probably going to cover it. And if I cover it, I'm going to, it's not going to be like I'm covering, I'm going to be covering it from a certain angle. I'm going to be as responsible as I possibly can. But my biasness is going to show up. I might cover it. I'm just warning everybody. So when this thing kicks off, if it kicks off, it might not kick off, but I think it will kick off because of all the personnel that we got over there, all the refueling tankers, 2 carriers are over there. I think something is going to pop off, and it's going to be a huge event. So I'm probably going to cover that. College football supersedes everything. Supersedes everything, of course. But if that major event happens, I'm going to be covering it. So I'm just letting you know. I did not eat the cheeseburger. Now, I will say this. If you have a Culver's next to you, go get the walleye. Go get the 2-piece walleye. Don't get the walleye sandwich. Get the 2-piece walleye dinner. Have a little bit of tartar sauce. They give you a lemon. Put a little bit of lemon on there. That walleye. Do you know where Wisconsin, Culver's is from Wisconsin. Do you know where they get their walleyes? They only have them a certain time of the year. Here, we go into Lent and everything, Easter, the walleye is back at Culver's. Do you know where they get their walleyes? Lake of the Woods. The furthest spot, the furthest northern walleye fishing in the 48 contiguous states, way up in Minnesota. It's the part of Minnesota that kind of reaches into Canada. There's a square. That spot is where Culver's gets their walleyes. And it is absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. The walleyes come from Minnesota. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's getting the best walleyes available up in the highest peak of Minnesota. Yeah, it is the biggest U.S. military mobilization since 2003. And it's going to be a very dangerous situation. Very dangerous situation. Culver's pork sandwich is good stuff. Yep. Thank you, Cope. I appreciate it. Appreciate the $5 holler, sir. Pork sandwich is pretty good. Day B, go Greg. Your care for all globally fills my heart. Let's get to a world where F-bombs in international curling are a biggest problem. Look, I completely understand why people would be totally against it. It's very dangerous. We're going to lose people. We are going to lose our... I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you my perspective. And I might cover it. I might. It's okay if you disagree with it. I'm absolutely fine with that. All right? So, thank you, Cope. I appreciate it. Don Scruggs thinks he got an answer right. I don't know. I don't know what answer Don Scruggs got correct. I mean, Nate Frazier is the right answer. Just give him the rock. Come on, Kirby Smart. Give Nate Frazier the rock. I'm surprised Greg knows so much about their ideology. Well, I'm no expert. I did graduate with a political science degree. That's worth nothing. I talked to Natter. I do know this. The Persian people are a beautiful people. The Persians are an unbelievable people. They are. They led the way. I mean, in the 1970s and the 1960s and the 1950s, art, culture, science, their women led the way. The Iranian women led the way in the Middle East. So, yeah, I mean, was it a perfect country? No. Was it perfect under the Shah? Absolutely not. Are we a perfect country? No. We are an imperfect union. But the people that took over in 1979, yeah, tying up people's hands with their ankles and throwing them off the roofs, massacring over 30,000 people in the last protest with live bullets just within a couple of days. You can go on and 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 on. Spending all their money, all their resources on their proxy wars with Hezbollah and Hamas. They have spent all their money. They don't have water to drink. Tehran is absolutely dry. The banks, the inflation. They spent the treasure of that country on outsides, and the young people of that country are absolutely, they're sacrificing their bodies. Right now, today, they were out in the streets again today. The problem with all this is Iran's got a whole lot of missiles, and we got a whole bunch of people in danger. So it's going to be very, very difficult, very dangerous situation. Thank you, Cope. OPD Don. So Minnesota and Wisconsin have an intrastate trade negotiations of fish and cheese. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I guess that's the case. Thank you for the $10 holler, Opie. I really not think of it that way. It kind of makes me ill to think about that. Yeah, but that's true. That is absolutely true. We got the lakes, we got the water, we got the fish, and they got the cows, and they got the milk, and they got the cheese. I say they can keep their cheese, we keep our fish, and we're talking about borders. Let's put up a big border in between Wisconsin and Minnesota. Cut the St. Croix River, the bridge in half. Of course, we take the river, and let's just keep each other away from each other. Thank you, OPD Don. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you for the super chat. Jose, Wisconsin gets the better end of that deal. No! Gee, we had the Iranian exchange students at Oklahoma State during the Shah's reign. Yeah, there was a lot of that stuff going on. Yeah. It's well, I got to get going here. We've been on the air for an hour and 30 minutes. I'm talking about things that I should not be talking about. I appreciate you all joining us today. Again, subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. Ryan Brooks is the world champion. LSU Tiger, Moen After Dark. Caller from the west of the Rockies line. Thank you for the $2 holler, Moen. I appreciate your generosity. Cope, I appreciate your generosity. OBD Don, Christopher Huda. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Until next time, which is going to be tomorrow, and it ain't going to be a trivia championship. Maybe we'll talk more about that Virginia administrator. Pretty interesting. If you missed it, go back. At the beginning of this live show, we talked a little bit about a Virginia source, talking about realignment. Buckle up, brace for impact, keep your head on a swivel. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God, family,